Our cards look great, and some of them even do damage. But what sort of card game effects can we use to move cards between the deck, hand, and discard? Here are some of the things we'll cover in the video. A card action is a command that changes something about cards or zones in battle. Usually, this takes the form of moving cards from one zone to another, like drawing from the deck, or discarding from the hand. We've covered a few card actions in a previous video, but didn't go into detail about how they work. Card actions have a simple syntax and work just like note tags you might find in other RPG Maker plugins. Most of them are as simple as a keyword followed by a number, like draw X, which draws X cards from the deck to the hand, or search for X, which draws one card with an ID of X if it's present in the deck. In both of these examples, you would replace X with a number. You can make cards execute these card actions by putting them inside the card action note tag. In my Eden Apple card, I have the draw card action, which moves cards from the deck to the hand. It's a little overpowered, so let's turn it into Eden Orange. This means adding a few other actions. Now it uses the Move X action to move 5 cards from the discard to the deck, the Wait action to wait a few frames before moving on to the next action, the Shuffle Deck action to shuffle the deck, and then finally the Draw action. Notice that all of these card actions are executed before the card resolves and moves to the discard. Items can also have card actions. Here's a Mulligan potion that uses the Discard Until action to move all cards from the hand to the discard, and the Draw action to draw 5 cards. If the player ever needs to discard their entire hand, the process is automatic and does not require player input to confirm. There's another note tag you can use to make cards or items use card actions, and that's by putting them inside the Card Target Actions note tag. Unlike the Card Actions note tag, which always affects the user of the card or item, Card Target Actions affects the target. That means it's affected by the skill's scope. Let's make a new skill called Who's On First. We want to set its scope to Ally and give it Card Target Actions with Draw 2. This will let us give 2 cards to an ally in our party, or the actor themselves, as a treat. Enemies can use the Card Target Actions note tag to force negative effects onto the player. This one uses the Discard action, which makes the player select a card to discard. As of version 1.6, enemies don't have cards yet, so Card Target Actions should be limited to targeting actors. Here I've got a skill called Blood Drive, which puts the Mill action inside the Card Actions note tag, making the user discard the top card of their deck, and has a Draw action inside the Card Target Actions note tag, making the party member they selected draw a card. Here I've got a skill called Right Back Atcha, which deals damage to an enemy and then puts itself back in the deck. It does this using the Move This action, which works just like the Move X action, but it affects the card that's currently in use. Finally, we have this skill called Ghost Drive. It's just like Blood Drive, but spooky. Spookier? This card will remove itself from the game as a part of its card action, while drawing the target 2 cards in exchange. You've probably noticed by now the Battle Start Actions and Turn Start Actions parameters at the top of the Core Engine plugin. These are yet another place you can put card actions. The Battle Start Actions will execute on the first turn of battle for each actor. By default, it's set to Shuffle Deck, Draw 5. This is exactly what we see when we enter battle. If you change this parameter, like turning draw 5 into draw 7, you'll notice that now when you enter battle, you draw 7 cards. The turn start actions execute at the start of every turn after the first one. If we change our turn start actions to draw 1, we end up with a more traditional card game experience. Maybe that will compensate for how many cards we've made that draw more cards. Both the battle start and turn start actions execute for an individual actor when it's time for that actor's input. In a party of multiple actors, each one will only draw their starting hand when it's their turn. There's another time card actions can be executed, and that's whenever a zone is emptied. Each zone in the core engine parameters has a parameter called card actions on empty. For most zones, you won't need to put anything here, but the deck has something by default. Move all from discard to deck, shuffle deck. These actions do what it sounds like, and this is standard behavior for most games of this genre. If we want to get more advanced, we can add a little punishment to it while we're here. After the shuffle action, let's add move 1 from deck to exile. Now we'll make an extra zone called exile. I'll do this quickly since we're going over that in a later video. Now, whenever we draw our entire deck, we lose access to one random card. Maybe all those draw cards we've made aren't looking so overpowered. For a full glossary of all the card actions available, check out our wiki page on card actions, linked in the description, or find the video at the end of our tutorial series. We'll also build on top of this in Part 5, Card Passives and Advanced Actions. If that's not out yet, subscribe to be notified when it's ready. Or don't. It's not like I care. Okay, yeah. I care.